Which gear to use is a battle we face constantly as photographers and videographers. It seems like new gear is released what feels like almost every single day, and it's easy when you see all of that new gear being released to feel like you need to be using those new bits of kit and upgrading your gear so that you can continue to keep making the best photos and videos possible. However, the tech is that good now that you can get incredible results no matter what gear you use. In fact, I'm willing to go as far as saying you can get incredible results no matter what gear you use. And I'm taking it to the extremes as well. Because if you really wanted to, you could get some incredible results and make an amazing video using this. This is an old analog tape camcorder that my dad gave to me a little while back, and I'm gonna make a video about this because I need to get it up and running again. I love it. Depending on what style of film you were going for, you could make something now in 2023 with this that looks brilliant if it suited the style of what you were going for. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. What is more important than the gear you use is your creativity and the story that you are trying to tell, whether that is in video form or in photo form. The equipment that we use is purely and physically a tool to be able to get us to that point where we have a finished thing. And it doesn't matter what you use to do that, because the story is the key. And that literally might be a story from start to finish in a video, or it might just be getting the viewer to ask a question about a photo. How much dynamic range or how sharp an image a camera produces has literally nothing to do with that. It might help you to be able to create a better looking image in certain situations, again depending on the look and the style that you are going for, but there is so much more that goes into it than just the gear. For example, the latest Apple event video where they released their brand new M3 MacBook Pros. If you know about these Apple event videos, you will know that they go all out and they make some seriously high-end videos with very high production value. And this one was no different, and everyone was watching this Apple event as normal, thinking it was shot as normal. And usually they film those Apple event videos on an Arri Alexa Mini, I think it is. But this time, at the end, a small message popped up just as everyone was switching off at the end of the event, and it said, "This event was shot purely on an iPhone." We all just watched the Apple event as normal, not thinking anything else of it in the way that it was shot. No one at any single point would have considered the fact that it looks like iPhone footage, because it didn't. It is madness, and it just goes to show how quickly technology is moving on. The tech available to us now has moved on so quickly in such a short space of time. If you look back 5 or 10 years ago, what is possible now wasn't possible then. That is how quickly things are moving on. And it doesn't matter what camera you use now, because the iPhone camera can shoot footage in ProRes log that equals the likes of the professional mirrorless cameras. It is nuts. Now, yes, obviously each camera has its pros and cons, and you'd more than likely want to be using a professional camera over the likes of your iPhone most of the time. However, these are very impressive cameras, and it's all about learning your camera's different limits and learning how to go about getting the best you can from it. And that's the same no matter what camera you use. With that Apple event video as well, there was a short behind the scenes video that came out. I love stuff like that, and geeking out about how things were actually shot and realizing what actually went on and what people were thinking about when they were making it. But there was a bit of confusion over the fact that they still use massive lighting rigs and different camera jibs and cranes and gimbals and things like that. And people were saying that it kind of took away from the fact that it was shot on an iPhone, which makes no sense in the slightest, because even if you were still using a 50,000 grand cinema rig like an Arri Alexa, you would still be using all of those lights and jibs and cranes and gimbals, because that's filmmaking. That is how you make videos of that standard. So that argument makes no sense at all. But the fact that you can use an iPhone as the camera within that setup and people not notice the difference, that is insane. Genuinely insane. It just goes to show what is possible, because these cameras are with us all of the time, 24/7, every single day, in our pockets, and we don't think anything of it. We kind of just take it for granted now. And it is entirely possible to film massive productions on these tiny little cameras that we carry around with us in our pockets every single day. Think back 10 years ago, that was just, no one have even considered that. There's obviously still a hell of a lot that goes into it because you need to know an awful lot about how to get the best footage from these. Filmmaking isn't as easy as Apple like to make you think, where you just hit record and that is it. There's a hell of a lot that goes into filmmaking and photography, and that's no different when you are using these on the iPhone, but it's all about learning how to get the best from it. The possibilities that we have now to be able to go out and create something at any point, no matter when we want, whether that's photography or video, are endless because everything is so capable now, and we have no excuse not to be able to do it anymore. If you have a dedicated mirrorless camera, amazing. If you only have access to an iPhone, that is still great. Just go out and be creative and see what you can get from them. How the footage is recorded doesn't matter at all. Documentaries, for example, will use really old tape recorded footage from the likes of handycams if that footage helps to move the story along. And it won't matter that it is really old, poorly shot footage, because what matters the most is the story that you are trying to tell. At the end of the day, we have everything we could ever want and need to be able to create what we want, and gear is no longer an issue to stop that, because 20 years ago, believe it or not, things like this were high tech, and now technology has filtered down over the years into the likes of our mobile phones, where we can get professional level footage from a device in our pocket. Now, I'm not saying that your phone can fully replace your professional high-end mirrorless camera that you've spent thousands of pounds on, but what I am saying is that you can easily and 100% get away with using iPhone footage within your videos and match it up to look like your high-end professional mirrorless camera because of the likes of ProRes and Log that you now get in iPhones. That gap has been closed a long way. That's what makes the possibilities of what we can create endless, because your phone is with you all of the time. Your camera might not be. So that's quite exciting. So if you want to get into the likes of photography, filmmaking, or starting a YouTube channel, there has literally never been a better time to do it, because never has all of this stuff been so accessible, and never have we ever had so few excuses not to be able to do it. If you want to go and do it, just go and do it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video.